What is going on, distinguished D-Gents? It is Steve, Big Bucks Beta, riding solo into week 14. We got a lot of games that I got to go over that I actually just pretty much finished handicapping here. I would go over the New England-Pittsburgh shit show of a game that I didn't see that result coming, but I'll give a quick brief. New England 21, Pittsburgh 18. Can't wait for Money Mansmann to get back into this one because, honest to God, this one was just a shit show to watch, especially for Pittsburgh bettors who thought New England was written off, done and died, and done for. God, you might be looking to fade the Steelers the rest of the year, but like I said, there are 15 NFL games this week, one down, 14 to go. Money Mansmann has called for his bye week, so it is just me tonight, and we have a lot to talk about. Before we get it started, we are going to go ahead and I want to give a quick shout out to the Harbor Discussions channel. This is producer John, aka Little Brother. Check out his content. He's been releasing content every Thursday. His birthday is also coming up, so make sure you follow his page, give him a like, give him a comment, and check his page out as well. With that said, and like I said, I'm not really here to recap Thursday night. We're here to go over all the games. We got all 5 of my best bets to go. My favorite of the week, my fade of the week, my dog of the week, my over of the week, and, of course, the under of the week. And basically, just before we really get into this, we got a lot of divisional matchups to go over. Looks like I am counting 6 division matchups, 2 non-conference games, and truth be told, just a lot of backup quarterback matches. Some of these games, I think, were set up with the idea of headlining quarterbacks, QB1s, going head-to-head, and it looked great on paper, but really hard to account for injuries these days. So we're getting a bunch of shit shows for games on top of these divisional matchups. Overall, this was just a lot of different system plays coming in at once. A lot of division, especially in the division games, you really look at some of these head-to-heads. You really look at how those division system plays go out, especially on the betting angles, especially with some of these spreads and the line movement too. Some of these line movements, I'm wondering if it's sharp money coming in on bad angles. I don't know if it's the public just jacking a team up for no reason. Not really much to take away in terms of pros versus Joes. I think there's certain games we're going to see that just clear as day. And at the end of, I think we're just gonna jump into this because a lot of these games were just like I picked it right there, no questions. Some of these games I really had to dig deep, really had to crank the handicapping noggin, really had to sharpen some blades so I could be sharp. So with that said, we're going to jump ahead. Sunday, 1 o'clock slate. It is the Baltimore Ravens coming off of a bye, hosting the Los Angeles Rams, coming off that win against Cleveland. Baltimore is laying 7.5. They are minus 360 on the money line. The over-under right now is 40.5. Rams are a plus 290 road dog. And I'm just going to let Money Mansmann know that I'm live in case he wants to listen in. Okay. So, all right. It's a big buck special. We got to start this off one with a banger. I'm going to go ahead and just lay it out there. Best bet, favorite of the week, first game handicapping. Give me the Ravens minus 7.5. The Rams are coming off back-to-back wins in a non-conference road spot. Mansmann basically had a handicap from last week about how the Rams are terrible off of a loss. They're now going up against the AFC team. this is a spot where they should lose. I thought he was a dumbass because that meant he was putting his money on Joe Flacco. We already went through that in the recap. Bottom line is, I think that handicap actually applies here in this spot a lot better than it did last week when the Rams were at home. I seriously doubt some of the sharps knew what they were doing when this line opened to 7.5. It did drop to 7 earlier, but now it's back up. But this is my system play here. It's Lamar Jackson versus the NFC. Anytime Lamar Jackson goes up against the NFC, it is worth the bet. Lamar is 9-0 straight up at home versus NFC opponents, although 4-5 ATS. But in his last 6, he's gone 4-2. He's covered 3 straight, so the trend is on the up as far as I'm concerned. Ravens are 6-1 straight up versus the NFC West going back to 2019. That one loss, by the way, was to the Rams, but that was with Tyler Huntley at quarterback, and it was a 19-20 game, and it was actually really close if you guys remember. The Rams also historically struggle in these non-conference road spots. They've gone 1-3 straight up, 1-2-1 ATS just since last season. And they struggled as road underdogs, also 1-3 straight up, 1-2-1 ATS. And the Rams are only 2-6-3 ATS as road underdogs since the 2022 season. And what I really love, especially here, and why I made this my best bet, the Ravens defense in this matchup. They are the number 2 ranked defense and the number 2 ranked pass defense, according to Fox Sports. They have only allowed 10 touchdowns all year through the air. It is the least out of all the NFL teams. And I just think if this Ravens team manages to shut down Puka Nacua and they shut down Cooper Kupp and they rely on Kyren Williams, I don't know if that's going to be enough to stop this Ravens defense. I don't know if that's going to be enough to outscore Lamar Jackson. And I could just see Matt Stafford struggling bad against this Ravens front 7. I could see him going through a lot of sacks. I could see a lot of 3-and-outs. The devil's advocate, I will say, the Ravens are coming off the bye, and they have historically struggled in this spot. Since 2018, they've gone 1-5 ATS off the bye. I just truthfully, I hate this spot for the Rams more than anything. More so than, me loving the Ravens. Now, as far as this total goes, over under 40.5, I do lean over in this game. The Ravens are bound to score at least 30 at home, considering they've done it in 4 straight now. The question just becomes, how much do you think that the Rams are going to get up? Because I could see them at least getting to 10. And the Ravens are known for having a shoddy second half defense and a second half team altogether. So I think if this one does become close, at this point, you're not worried about the cover. You're worried about the Ravens blowing the lead once again that we've seen before, and we've seen before late in the season last year. So it wouldn't shock me if this just ends up being a Ravens first half play for me, but I've already got the Ravens minus 7.5 locked up. I think a lot of people are they're overthinking this Rams team. I think they played 2 really shoddy teams back-to-back in Arizona and Cleveland. And mind you, their offense looked good, but I've said it before, Arizona's defense is trash. Cleveland's defense on the road just tends to struggle. They are also really bad. And I just can see this being a massive letdown spot for Stafford and company. So give me the Ravens here and give me the over 40.5. All right, best bet. There we go. Because now we have to jump to this shit show of the game. It is the Carolina Panthers traveling as 5.5-point road underdogs in a divisional matchup against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are minus 5.5 favorites, minus 260. Over under 38.5. Oh, by the way, these odds are, of course, through FanDuel. And New Orleans getting 62% of the bets on the spread and 59% of the money. And it just tells me that it's pretty split down the middle because Carolina is a really, really, really bad team. I don't give a shit. I already gave out my favorite of the week and my best bet. Time to give out the fade of the week. We are fading the shit out of this New Orleans Saints team right now. And this is admittedly sort of like a default fade. But And I'm pretty solid at picking my fades of the week. I was doing really good up until last week. I think I had like 4 in a row going into week 13. This is just your classic. We're fading Dennis Allen as a favorite. We're fading the Saints in a division matchup. We're fading Derek Carr if he ends up starting. We're fading the Saints altogether. And that said, I knew, like, we've given out Derek Carr's numbers as a favorite and how bad he is. Dennis Allen, head coach of the New Orleans Saints, is currently 5-16-1 ATS as a favorite in his coaching career. With the New Orleans Saints, 2-13-1. This guy, in terms of coaching, has already not been a winner. He's been pretty terrible. But in terms of betting, he is even worse. Straight up Loserville. You are just burning money betting on the Saints whenever they are a favorite. And the Saints have been favorites 10 times this year. They have covered once. Now, we are essentially getting Dennis Allen by a touchdown. He's never been a favorite by more than 6. Ever. I know Carolina sucks. This just feels like on principle, you can't bet the Saints here in this spot. Not as 5.5 point, 6 point favorites. Like, this shit is just bonkers. And I think it just goes to show how bad the Carolina Panthers truly are. And normally the Saints here, like, you would think, like, on the futures line, like, looking back, this is a spot you hammer the Saints, but the Saints have failed to cover 6 straight as home favorites. They are now 0-6-1 ATS against division opponents as home favorites. And I actually wouldn't mind the fact that now it's Jameis Winston potentially starting for Derek Carr. That's up in the air right now, I guess, because of the concussion protocol. Jameis is only 6-7 straight up versus the Panthers in his career. 2-2 as a Saint. So it's like ideally, it's pretty much like less than a 50% chance that he'll get the win straight up. And you want me to lay 6 points on this team? Just seems completely asinine. Just seems fucking bonkers to me. I know the Panthers suck. They are the literal worst team in football. They are so bad. They are going to have the number 1 spot in the draft yet again. And they're going to lose it because they traded it away to get fucking Bryce Young. But they have covered 2 of their last 3 on the road. And all 3 of those games ended in 7 or less. Saints own 5 ATS at home. I can't take the Saints here. This is Carolina plus the points all day. If you're that worried, tease it up. And this is going to be a big underplay as well. The Saints have had 8 straight division games hit the under. Carolina 1-4-1 on the under in their last 6. They had not scored more than 20 points since they played Miami. So under 37.5, Carolina plus 5.5 here. Actually, the line's moved up. Now it's 38. Gotta love it. Let me update the spreadsheet real quick. All right, moving on. We have the battle of the backups. We got the Indianapolis Colts and Gardner Minshew. Now a 1.5 point road underdog after opening as a 1.5 point favorite. Plus 114 on the money line. The Bengals are now minus 134 home favorites, minus 1.5. Over under right now, 43.5 points. The Bengals getting 65% of the money on the spread and 54% of the bets. Despite the fact that the Colts have the better ATS record, the better straight up record, what the hell's going on here, guys? Well, I think I could tell you, and before I get started, there's a certain gentleman I owe an apology to. His name is Jake Browning. He is the current quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. Last week and the week before, I essentially just refused to learn this guy's name. I didn't give a shit if it was Jake Browning, Elvis Presley, Jake Gyllenhaal didn't give a shit. But Jake Browning comes in Monday Night Football, beats the shit out of Cinderella, makes him cry, leads the Cincinnati Bengals to a game-winning field goal in overtime. So, hats off to you, sir. I will now forever remember your name, at least for the season. And yeah, I'm still not betting on you though. Here's why, guys. You're coming into a game on short rest if you're the Bengals. You're coming off an overtime thriller on Monday night. Now you're going up against arguably one of the better road teams in the NFL. Also kind of coming off an overtime win against a division opponent. But here's the difference. The Colts are really, really good on the road. They are 5-1 straight up in ATS and road games now. They have won and covered 4 straight. And this could just be simple market dynamics handicap, but the Colts opened up at -1.5. I was kind of a little weary. I wanted to wait to handicap it. Didn't hit it. I see it go down to 1, and I'm like, okay, half-point swing, whoop-de-doo. It's just gotten to the point. It's a 2-point swing because why? Jake Browning had one good game against a suspect Jaguars team at home who I've at least been critical of all year. And I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think there could be a couple good reasons to take the Bengals. They've won 4 of the last 5 matchups head-to-head against the Colts at home. If you want to go all the way back to 96. Now that the Colts are an underdog, it's not boding them well because as a dog, 3-5 straight up, 4-4 ATS in their last 8. They've actually lost 3 in a row and lost 4 of their last 5 straight up as underdogs. But honestly, this has just become a wrong team favorite here. Like a what the fucking. This is wrong team favored. And to me, this is a massive overreaction line to that Bengals Monday night game. I'm going to go with the market here. I think it's wrong. I think the Colts had value already. It was just, did I want to hit it now that it's gone in the direction I wanted it to? The answer is yeah, I want to hit it. So give me the Colts here. And this is going to be a overplay for me as well. The Colts are just an offensive juggernaut. They are 8-4 on the over all year. But this Colts defense has been susceptible to teams like the Bengals before in the past. If you remember, Cleveland had a really high-scoring game. The Titans just last week put up 28. I could just see a very similar type matchup from Monday Night Football where, this could be a really crazy back-and-forth situation. But, yeah, I mean, Gardner Minshew, I mean, what can I say? The guy's been winning, so hard to not bet on that. All right, battle of the backups, number 2. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars, speaking of the Devils. They are catching 3 on the road now, plus 124, going up against the Cleveland Brownies, and the Browns are 3-point home favorites, minus 146, and, there's just, before I get started on this one, let me take some medicine here. I have another apology to make. This apology goes out to Joe Flacco, the heart and soul of the 2010 Baltimore Ravens. I may have been wrong about Joe Flacco being washed. You, Joe Flacco, had Cleveland's best performance at quarterback all season, and your efforts and your valiant effort awarded you your position back in the practice squad because you still ended up losing to the Rams. So now we're back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a.k.a. DTR. Here we go, I guess. Cleveland, on principle, I'm not betting on you. But this is not like the Colts where I'm pretty confident I could take it. This is more of a no bet for me. But here's why. I would rather back a CJ Beathard who has been in the league since 2018, has been in Jacksonville for enough time to learn the playbook. It's not like he's showing up at the last minute. Currently does have he's limited in practice with a shoulder injury. God forbid if he's out and Trevor Lawrence is out, it's actually not Nick Foles. It's former Ohio Bobcats quarterback and Canadian Football League standout Nathan Rourke. Regardless, though, like, I don't like if it's Nathan Rourke, I don't know what happens with this line, but regardless, like, I can't back DTR as a 3-point home favorite. I can't wrap my head around that. I can't get myself there. And by the way, on the look ahead, I think this was a 1-point pick'em, may have even been a 1-point underdog towards Cleveland. So if you happen to jump on that early and now you're getting -3, this is a great middling opportunity. So hopefully you guys could at least get something. But, I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care that the numbers say that the Browns are 4-0 straight up in ATS as home favorites this year. The Jags are also 5-0 straight up in ATS on the road. And looking all-time head-to-head, the Browns are 2-7 at home against the Jags in their history. They haven't won against the Jags at home since 2011. Regardless of who was favored here, I don't know if laying 3 on either backup quarterback is the move. I'm just taking the Jags as a road underdog here because I'm getting 3 points. It's not like if this was a pick 'em, like it would just be a no bet, maybe Cleveland. But what I'm gonna say, like if you're gonna give me 3, I'll take it because I have doubts. Jags as a road underdog too, 5-0 ATS in their last 5. Option number 2 for what I was considering to be under of the week, and this is where I'm actually going to take it. This is my under of the week at under 33.5. Low number, but I think there's going to be some bad weather in Cleveland with some high winds. The Browns have been a dead under team at home. They're 0-5-1 on the under all year. 4 of the last 5 head-to-head matchups between these two teams have also gone under this number. And I just think that the Jags are going to struggle on offense with CJ Beathard if the Browns defense is at home this time. I'm not expecting them to give up 30 plus like to a Matt Stafford, who, let's be honest, Matt Stafford, really good veteran quarterback, probably future Hall of Famer. CJ Beathard, like 5 steps below. DTR has not scored more than 13 in a full game. Just no, I don't know. There's just no way. I can't even imagine this score getting to 30, let alone 33.5. So under of the week here, and I'm taking the points with the Jags. Okay. Division matchup number 2. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the Atlanta Falcons as 2.5-point road underdogs. Falcons laying the 2.5, they're -136 on the money line. The Tampa Bay Bucks are currently +110, and I just got the updated number. The Falcons are actually -130, still at 2.5 though. Over under right now sitting at a whopping total of 40.5. Oh boy. All right, I don't have a lot here to say about this game. I have little to no interest, but looking at these numbers, I think on instincts, the smarter play would be probably to take the Bucs, truth be told. I do believe deep down the Buccaneers are the better team. They are 5-1 ATS off of a win. The simple handicap for me, like at the end of the day, I'm taking Baker Mayfield on the road, who's lost 4 straight. I'm getting Desmond Ridder at home. He's lost 1 time ever in his career as a starter. The 2.5 here is what kills me, but Desmond Ridder, 2-0 straight up against the Bucs. He's covered 3 before against them twice. Ritter's 3-0 straight up in ATS and division matchups as a starter. The Falcons are, you look at last week and, I think me and Money Mansmann both said, not really a whole lot that we learned, but, let's look at the 2 games. The Falcons, they're coming off of a bad game against the Jets in New York, where they still won and covered, while the Buccaneers got away with beating Carolina. They failed to cover, though. And not just cover the 5.5. They failed to cover the 3.5. They pushed on the 3 as low as that got. And to be honest with you, there was a 2-minute drive. Bryce Young could have potentially beaten them at some point. Didn't actually happen, though, at the end of the day. But I just think that the sharp money supposedly jumping in on Tampa, like, I just don't think they're realizing how bad that team might actually be. And Atlanta is shit, too. Don't get me wrong. I fucking hate Atlanta. I normally love betting against them. But I'm just trying not to overthink this one. And this is just more of a gut play. But I'm taking the Falcons at home. And I lean over 40.5 here. It's a dome game. Ritter does struggle on offense, but I don't know. Like, the more I think about it, it's like if Atlanta can't figure out how to fucking double team Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield's going to have a field day. Desmond Ritter, I mean, the Falcons offense, let's be honest, they're good for at least 18 to 20. I could see this barely getting over, maybe a 21-20 bullshit score. Like, it's not a strong play, but yeah, I'll take Atlanta here -2.5. Okay. We are currently going down the list. We are now at division game number 3 in the NFC. We got the Detroit Lions traveling to the Chicago Bears. The Lions are -3 road favorites, -178 on the money line. Bears +150, catching 3, but at a +100 even number on the odds. Over under 43.5. Let's see who's catching the money here. Detroit getting 75% of the money on the spread, 76% of the bets. This is, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the pros versus Joe's game. Pros all over Chicago, Joe's all over Detroit. I really should be more mad at the Sharps for wanting to take the Bears here. Everyone I've listened to, they are siding with Chicago here at +3. I'm backing the public. If I lose with the Joes, I lose with the Joes. And literally, like, one of the Sharps I was listening to, he said, yeah, I'm just going to side with the Sharps. If I lose, we all lose, and we'll just all eat it. But I just think that they're not really – this is the game. The more I listen to people talk about it, they're not really handicapping it. They're just treating it like a spot play. And Monty Mansmann will tell you, and what I cannot fucking stand, and sometimes it comes across as lazy, but I cannot fucking stand spot handicaps without any sort of evidence really to back it up, other than I just have a feeling this is a bad position for this team. And meanwhile, the team they're betting on is like one of the top 5 worst teams in the NFL, going up against one of the top teams in the NFC. All because, like, oh, well, this team struggled in the last few games. And Chicago, like, they won. They looked kind of good. But, okay, so let's really look at this. I did more deep diving than what I've actually heard. So let me tell you what I found. Two main reasons why I'm going to side with Detroit. They are road warriors. They have been on the road for 6 games. They've gone 5-1 straight up in ATS. They are 4-0 straight up in ATS as road favorites. Secondly, let's talk about the Bears. I know they've covered back-to-back division games. Those were both in domes. And I know we love to shit on Jared Goff and weather in like bad weather and in the cold. I know there's stats that back that up, but stop and acknowledge for a second, like, how was Justin Fields in the same conditions? And let's acknowledge the fact I think he's pretty shit too. Since the Bears have acquired Justin Fields, the Bears have gone 1-7 straight up in ATS at home against division opponents. They have lost and failed to cover 7 straight. If you want to go back to Mitch Trubisky's last year in 2020, they went 1-10 straight up in ATS in their last 11. I'm not that mad though. Like, I kind of get the argument the Sharps are trying to make. If you look, because like you look at the last few games and consider the spot, Detroit had no business winning their last matchup at home against Chicago. They got a fourth quarter comeback win at home. The Bears magically found a new way to fuck up my live bet. and just fucking lose in spectacular fashion yet again. And then you look at the Bears. They had no business the week before their bye on Monday night winning against the Vikings. No business. They literally had Josh Dobbs 4 interceptions and were down 9-10 with 2 minutes to go. Literally, the Vikings defense was stopping Justin Fields all game. And then Brian Flores just basically said, fuck it, I give up, let him win. And they kicked the field goal, 4 field goals, and they beat the Vikings. The point I'm trying to make is, like, Chicago just essentially caught Jared Goff and Josh Dobbs in, like, arguably their worst performances ever. So you caught 2 mid-tier quarterbacks in back-to-back bad games. And the Bears might have won back-to-back home games too, but they beat Aiden O'Connell and Bryce Young. I'm not fucking impressed, and honestly, I think that's worse. They've only covered the 1 game against the Raiders. They didn't cover against fucking Carolina, believe it or not. And the Bears are 1-3-1 ATS at home all year. Why are we fucking taking 3 points with the Bears? They were 8.5 in Detroit. Like, you're telling me it's a 5-point swing with the fucking Lions? Just doesn't seem fucking correct to me. And maybe if this was a dome team like New Orleans or another dome team, like maybe like the Chargers, I'd be more willing to take the 3. I don't think Jared Goff is going to have another shit game on the road against Chicago. Lions have covered 5 straight division road games too. They're the only division road favorite on the card, and those teams have been very successful to bet on. Road favorites all year. 24-16 straight up, 23-14-3 ATS. They have been 7-0 since week 12. Make it 8-0. Let's go Detroit, and over 43.5 for me here. The Bears have not scored over 20 in their last 4 division home games. Detroit's offense is literally so up and down, but you look at that New Orleans game, you look at the last time they played Chicago. Detroit, I think, for this to work, there's a possibility they might have to outscore the Chicago Bears, which may not be a lot necessarily, but I just think that Detroit's defense has been very, very bad lately, and if they give up a lot of points, it could just be a game where you're not necessarily looking at a shootout, but you're looking at, do we want to keep a 10-point lead? Do we want to keep a 2-score lead? And I could just see this. I could see this being like a 33, like 13 kind of game. It's going to hit over, but it's probably going to take a while. So, and Detroit's, I think they're going to have a chunk ton of points because that defense is not reliable. So, over Detroit for me. Drink break. Okay. Oh, party foul. All right. Moving on. I'm gonna get mad at this one. I'm gonna get so fucking pissed. I can already tell. All right, we got the Houston Texans now laying 3.5 on the road, minus 196. Jets plus 3.5, plus 164. Home underdogs, over under 33.5. Has been confirmed. Zach Wilson will be the starter. And hang on. So, third apology of the night. I'm going to apologize to Zach Wilson. Not because of his performances, not because of the shit I've said. I legitimately feel bad for Zach Wilson. I truly believe he was a victim of Robert Saleh's incompetence. He was a victim of the New York Jets' shitty organization and management skills. Shame on them for not giving you half of the O-line that you probably deserve to have a real opportunity. Not to mention all the stupid crock of shit he's been dealing with as far as the mudslinging, according to Aaron Rodgers. He's not only been a victim of the New York Jets, he's been scapegoated like no other 24-year-old I have ever seen in my life. This kid got drafted to be the new quarterback after Sam Big Dick Darnold. And I think we should have learned very quick. Quarterback wasn't the problem. But did the Jets do that? No. They throw this kid out to fucking survive and eats, I think, the most sacks of a rookie since of the 2021 draft class. Just fucking insane. I can't believe the bullshit he has had to go through as of late. And I hope in his post-NFL career, he's slinging cock and banging MILFs in his post-NFL career, because I know that's his other favorite pastime. Now, in terms of this game, I don't care that Houston is on the road. I don't care that the Jets have Zach Wilson starting at quarterback again. The guy was a fucking... They were losers. The guys, they fucking sucked. They were no good. I don't care that the Texans lost to the Panthers. I mean, for fuck's sakes, oh God, Houston almost lost to Arizona too. They lost to the Falcons. No, it doesn't matter to me. It's Houston or nothing. The Jets have lost and failed to cover 5 straight now. They're on auto fade. I don't care. There's no way you bet the Jets. I can't do it. And I'm not even going to go into all the turmoil about Robert Saleh asking news broadcasters who to fucking start at quarterback. I'm not going into the bullshit of Zach Wilson being reluctant to start again at quarterback for the 3rd or 4th fucking time after being benched, because let's be honest, he should be reluctant. I think nobody's fucking acknowledging that maybe he should fucking take a break and step back and let them fucking crumble and figure it out, because they've given up on him. Why should he continue to fucking try? How does Zach Wilson starting again magically make this Jets team a winning team? What really grinds my fucking gears, I'm sick and fucking tired of hearing the Jets defense are going to beat teams. I know the Texans are injured. What team by week 14 doesn't have any fucking injuries going on right now? I don't care that they lost Tank Dell. I know Will Anderson is hurt. At the end of the day, let's look at this. Can Devin Singletary and Dameon Pierce beat this Jets team? Yes. Yes, they can. Honestly, unless it's Alexander Madison, the Pittsburgh Steelers, or honestly any other NFC South team, their running back core could beat the fucking Jets. Now, scratch that one. Bijan Robinson got tackled for a safety last week. He only had 50 rushing yards. They still beat the fucking Jets. I'm going to include the Panthers in this. I think the Panthers could beat the Jets on the right day. This line opened at 6.5 fucking points. It's 3.5 now. Market dynamics. Come the fuck on. Really? How do you sit here with the Jets at minus 3.5 and bet this knowing, or plus 3.5? How do you bet the Jets plus 3.5 knowing you could have got it at 6.5 if you're somehow on their side? They fucking suck. They are losers. They're pathetic. Jets haven't scored more than 13 points in 6 fucking weeks. I'm hitting the under. Fuck the Jets. I'm done with this game. I'll be right back. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. Are you fucking can't stand goddamn Jets. Can't stand bullshit sharps who keep saying week after week on their podcast with thousands of fucking people, the Jets defense, they can fucking beat this team. This team is bad. They can't. And then for 6 fucking weeks, people are losing money. It's fucking irresponsible. It's bullshit. God, it's so fucking irritating, folks. It's so fucking irritating. I can't imagine what it's like being a Jets fan, but how people tell me, Oh, but looks like oh God. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck the Jets defense wins a game on their own here. 6 fucking week in a row. It's unbelievable. I'm moving on. Yeah, Seattle now catching 13.5 after it opened at 10.5, plus 660 on the money line on the road, traveling to the San Francisco 49ers, coming off their NFC conference rematch victory against the Eagles, laying 13.5 minus 1,000 on the money line. Niners getting 71% of the money and 57% of the bets. I had a handicap for this game. I have to burn it. I have to burn it. This just looks, smells, feels like a trap play. Every time, though, I think you play Seattle with a lot of points and it's a winner, I tend to get burned. The Niners are literally coming off of their Super Bowl. In reality, it is a revenge spot from Philly. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, they are coming off their Super Bowl. What do I do with teams coming off their Super Bowl, folks? I fade the shit out of them. This line has moved up 3 points now, from what I can tell on FanDuel. You're getting a Seahawks team who had just lost a close head-to-head with Dallas last on Thursday night. They're getting extra rest. I would think slam the hell out of the 13.5, but it's the Seahawks division road spot as a dog where they've lost 5 straight as underdogs and they're 2-3 ATS. Geno Smith and the Seahawks, they're now 0-4 straight up in ATS against the Niners. I know history tells me to take the Niners. I don't want to fade the Niners at home either. 12-4 ATS since last season. But I just think this line has moved too much, and catching a touchdown, 2 touchdowns at that, I just have a bad feeling that, not necessarily that it'll be a letdown spot, but like I just have a feeling that the Seahawks are going to come out more pissed after the fact that they lost. I don't really have too much else other than to say like I'm changing it. I'm going to take Seattle with the points, but not too confident on it. But Niners are going to win here. There's no doubt about that. I haven't really checked the injury report though, so I'm going to try to look that up real quick. Or not the 49ers. I'm going to look at the Seahawks injury report. Maybe there's something there that I'm missing that made this line jump. Geno is limited. That might be why. With a groin injury. And Kenneth Walker Jr., Zach Charbonnet is limited. Yeah, I don't know. Like I maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe they're just pushing the Niners here. Yeah, I'm big concerns here. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Seahawks here, and as far as over under goes here, this is an overplay for me. I just think that the Seahawks. I know the Seahawks at home tend to struggle more. It's a number the Niners really could do. Like if I'm wrong about the 13.5, the Niners could score 46.5. They could score 47 on their own if they really, really wanted to. I don't think they will, but I like 37-10 covers this. 35-13 covers this. I could see something crazy like that. And I think the 13.5 is going to cover. Like, I mean, you're looking at 35-22. You're looking at even less than that. I think you're looking at a 27-20 situation where there's a backdoor cover. And again, Niners are coming off their Super Bowl. They just had their big game. I don't know if they do it twice in a row. So, I'm taking the Seahawks plus the points. Not entirely confident, though. All right. Finally, we jump ahead into the 4 o'clock slate, even though I just gave away the first 4 o'clock game. Second one, it's the other non-conference game. We got the Minnesota Vikings coming off the bye, traveling to the Las Vegas Raiders, who I also believe is coming off the bye. Yeah, both teams are coming off the bye. And I might get a lot of hate for this one. Hear me out. This is my dog of the week. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders catching 3 plus 138 on the money line. Vikings minus 164. Yeah, here's why. My overall thoughts is that Minnesota in this game, you're getting way too much love from the books here. All because Justin Jefferson's probably coming back. Let's break this down. The Vikings are a favorite against the Raiders in Las Vegas. Vikings are shockingly good as road favorites. They've been 3-0 straight up in ATS, but let's look at those games, and it's Green Bay, Chicago, Carolina. Oh, wait, those are all games played by Kirk Cousins. All right, let's go to the non-conference game. The Vikings have gone 0-3 all year against AFC teams, and ironically enough, they were all the AFC West. Dobbs was responsible for one of those losses against Denver. Let's go to the non-conference road spot, but let's highlight road. Josh Dobbs on the road, 1-5 straight up this season. Not a guy I just want to back here in this position. And this guy just lost to Justin Fields. And the Raiders at home, 4-2 straight up in ATS, 2-0 straight up ATS against NFC teams at home, beating Green Bay and the Giants. The big question I think we are obviously all wondering is Justin Jefferson impending return going to make a difference? And for me, the answer is no, not really. The offense has just been awfully quiet with Dobbs under center. He's only averaged, I think, like a touchdown a game, if that. They've been playing a lot of close competitive football, sure, but you actually look at it, besides the Atlanta game, it's been all about Brian Flores and stepping up on defense. But 2 games in a row, this guy's blown fourth quarter leads and given up the game in the last seconds. I would say if you want to bet the Vikes, this is honestly first half all the way Vikings, because this could just be another close, ugly game yet again. And I mean, look, you're getting Aiden O'Connell and Josh Dobbs. And Josh Dobbs off the bye after that performance. I get the idea. Jefferson's coming back. He should have a good explosive game. I'm starting him in fantasy, so look, I hope I'm wrong in the sense that I hope he has the best game of his life, but I don't know. I don't even like the idea of Josh Dobbs potentially being a good starting quarterback now and laying 3 on him when they were just talking a week ago they're going to bench this guy. I don't know why the Vikings necessarily even traded for him, truth be told. I thought they had a decent rookie going in, but what do I know? I'm not in the NFL, so not much else I can say. Under 40.5 here. Aiden O'Connell, I mean, he hasn't been anything to write home about either, and I just think Brian Flores will probably find a way to get the blitz going. I'm sure Aiden O'Connell might struggle. I just don't see Josh Dobbs doing what he did in those first 2 weeks with the Minnesota Vikings. I just see him completely falling apart and struggling yet again. So, all right, 2 more 4:00 games. They're the big ones. And you know what, folks? We're going to need another drinky poo. Because it's going to be my Denver Broncos. They are traveling to the Los Angeles Chargers, 2.5-point road underdogs, plus 126 on the money line for my Broncos. Brandon Staley's bitch ass and the fucking Cinderella Chargers, minus 148, home favorites. Denver, a public dog, getting 65% of the bets and the money. Yeah, here's my thoughts. Why the fuck are the Chargers catching 3 against anybody? They barely covered the 6 against the Patriots last week. That was my initial thoughts. And then I remembered it's the Broncos on the road. They're 3-10 straight up with Russell Wilson. They're 5-8-1 ATS. Oh, wait, they're road underdogs. 2-8 straight up, 5-5 ATS. One of those games was a London game, by the way. So actually, if you want to get technical, remove that one road win and make them 1-8 straight up. 4-5 ATS. Then I remembered this game is in SoFi Stadium, where Russell Wilson has gone a whopping 0-4 straight up, 2-2 ATS, but those covers were against the LA Rams. The Broncos have also gone 0-4 straight up in SoFi Stadium, 3 straight to the Chargers, once to the Rams. Then I remembered they're playing the Chargers as home favorites, where the Chargers have gone 6-3 straight up, 4-4-1 ATS, but the Chargers have gone 4-1 straight up and 3-1-1 in their last 5. Oh, yeah, and the Broncos did just lose their last road game. And the Broncos are 1-3-1 ATS after a loss this season. And they're also a division road underdog, where if I haven't given you that number, I'll do it again here. Road dogs in division matchups on the year are 11-17 straight up, 12-15-1 ATS. However, since week 6, they have gone 3-14 straight up, 4-13 ATS. Not a profitable line here, and I think you guys know where I'm going to get at. I know I want to fade the fuck out of the Chargers all the time. I can't stand them. I fucking hate Brandon Staley. I hope he gets fired at the end of this year. I want the Broncos to win because this is our playoffs. If we lose here, say goodbye to the playoffs. Wave goodbye, people. I don't like Denver getting 70% of the money as a public dog. That just sounds like a bad sign. It doesn't sound like people really know this Broncos team. It just sounds like they want to fade the Chargers after a lot of bad games, but on one hand, they get progressively worse on offense, but they won. The Broncos have been playing a lot of close games where Russell Wilson had to win it in the last minute. And it happened yet again with the Texans, and he threw his third interception. Chargers defense is fucking awful, though. But, and again, this is actually like an underplay. 4 of the last 5 head-to-head matchups have actually gone under this number, and I just see this being a position where Russell Wilson continues to struggle. Justin Herbert struggles against this Denver defense. Russ actually just doesn't perform well in domes in general. If you actually look back at all the dome games, he does not do well. We don't know why, but yeah, I have a really bad feeling about the Broncos here. I don't like the fact that everybody is on them. I hate the Chargers, and like I said, I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I got to take the Chargers here as a better. I just think that's the sharper move. Reasons to drink for 500, Alex. All right. Money Mansmann, forgive me. We got to do this. We got to talk about the Buffalo Bills traveling as now a pick'em, but plus 1.5 on the spread. Minus 1.5 for the Chiefs. Chiefs are they're minus 116. Bills minus 102. Over under is 48.5. Bills getting 52% of the money, but the Chiefs are getting 58% of the bets. Once again, guys, we have a pros Joe's here. There are sharps on both sides of this game. I've heard a lot of good arguments. Allegedly, this is the game of the week. Great idea in theory. It's a follow-up to the Niners-Eagles. I can't really hate it personally, but if you've seen the state of both teams, I think you have a lot of questions up in the air. Monty Mansmann, I think, is setting up his war room in the basement, he's preparing for his team to be on the big screen and then Denver on in the background. Hopefully I don't break shit this time. But there's a lot that's been said about both teams here, and very good reasons from Sharps, like I said, to take both. I'm going to break this down. Here's my reasons, or at least the most impactful reasons that I saw. The Bills are 1-4 straight up in ATS on the road. The Bills have lost 4 of their last 5 as road underdogs. They're 2-5 straight up in ATS in their last 7 as dogs, all 7 on the road. The Chiefs have gone 4-2 straight up in ATS at home. The Chiefs are 8-2 straight up against the AFC East since 2020. The kicker, 5-1 ATS after a loss since 2022. I hate to say it, but give me the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that the Bills' demise, while it was originally prematurely written, seems to have been an accurate prediction. I'm really down on the Bills here. I'm down on the Bills in this spot. Von Miller supposedly might be active, but I doubt he actually does anything relevant other than fucking hit his girl yet again. Second time, by the way, second occurrence that shit's happened for those of you who actually haven't done the research. Josh Allen's going to throw an interception at some point. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they just have this team's number. They have Sean McDermott's number. I hate fading Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at home. I know the Chiefs are hurt. Isaiah Pacheco is out, but this Bills defense is just so fucking dreadful. And then again, so is the Chiefs receiving corps. So I think the under 48.5 might be the smart play here. If you can't get on the side of either team, just play the under. Can the Chiefs receivers catch a ball? Could the Bills get a stop? Who the fuck knows? I can't. I cannot back this fucking. I can't back the Bills here. This is. I wanted to. I originally picked them, but the more I looked and the more I just thought about it, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Bills come away with the win. I love nothing more than seeing the Chiefs lose as well, but I gotta take the Chiefs. All right, Sunday Night Football. It's the Philadelphia Eagles coming off the loss to the Niners, traveling to Dallas. Dallas is laying 3.5 at plus 100 even money. Minus 196 for the Cowboys. Eagles are plus 164. Over under is 51.5. Okay. Over under is 51.5. This is just more or less a couple of system handicaps built into one, and I just think those system plays are still the right side. I'm laying the points with Dallas. I'm taking the 3.5. It's a home favorite in a division matchup. I gave that stat out with Denver and the Chargers, but road underdogs in division matchups, they don't fare well in this spot. Normally, you'd think Dallas just gave up 35 to Geno Smith. The Eagles just came off a really shitty performance at home against the Niners. Now you want to fade the team who barely won a tight matchup. You want to take the team that just got their asses kicked. Not me. I'm not doing that. Dallas is... I told you weeks ago there was going to be spots where I do end up fading the Eagles. This was the highlighted spot I had in mind. I had highlighted for a while now, just bet Dallas, whatever the line is, in this spot against Philadelphia, because Dallas was at home. These teams generally split the series every year. And Dallas, this is just kind of a tipping point. Dallas has won now 14 fucking straight at home. They've covered 6 of their last 7. You look at Philadelphia's last 3 road games, they lost to the goddamn Jets in East Rutherford. You had a back and forth battle against the Commies, only winning by a touchdown. For some reason, they always have close matchups. No real logic, just a division system play. And then you mount a fourth quarter comeback and barely beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Honestly, in a game they had no business winning, but in my opinion, but they did. In between all of that, they played Miami, Buffalo, Dallas the first time, and just San Francisco last week. The Eagles are just honestly, they're going through the gauntlet right now. And you're just catching another tough team of the NFC. And it's just like never ending for the Eagles. And I just don't know if they still have the stamina to keep up the momentum to win these types of games, especially with the way they've been playing, the way a lot of these games have been close, especially that first game against Dallas. And by the way, Dallas, they've won 5 straight at home against Philly. The lowest margin of victory was 6 in that span. Dallas has gone 11-1 straight up, 8-3 ATS at home against division opponents since 2020. 9 straight at home they've won, 8-1 ATS. Eagles, they're 2-7-1 ATS since 2020 in road division games. Take the 3.5 with the team at home. It's a division home game. This was competitor number 2 for my best bet, but I gave that out earlier. Give me the Cowboys. Give me the 3.5. And actually, I did want to make this a sort of best bet, and I had to change it up real quick. But this is going to be my over of the week. Overplay here. 4 of the last 5 in Dallas between these two teams have actually hit over this number. Both of these defenses just showed the biggest signs of weakness. And it's a big Sunday Night Football game. I know we've had a lot of duds lately. Speaking of Sunday Night Football, I think like a lot of it has hit the under. I think this is one where it goes over. Sunday Night Football, home teams have gone 8-1 straight up, 6-3 ATS since week 5. I just expect a big offensive performance from both of these quarterbacks. I expect a big dominant offensive showing between these receiving cores. And honestly, I know Dallas hasn't had the tougher opponent skill set, but they have been playing better on offense. And Dak has been playing pretty good lately. And Jalen Hurts has just been he has not been the same. I don't think he's injured, but he's just there's something off. So I'm taking Dallas. All right. And this is not, by the way, this is not a typo, folks. Thought it was crazy at first, but turns out it's true. None of these games got flexed. We have a double header on Monday Night Football. It is the Tennessee Titans traveling to the Miami Dolphins at plus 13.5, plus 560 on the money line. The Dolphins minus 800. Over under is 46.5. Dolphins are obviously getting 80% of the bets, 92% of the money. Not much to handicap here. I'm fading the Titans on the road. Miami's a big favorite at home. Miami tends to cover these big favorite lines. The Titans haven't won a road game all year. They haven't covered a road game all year. Miami's 4-1 ATS at home. They're undefeated at home straight up. So the play here, it's simple. It's Miami or nothing. Miami could hit this over, by the way, on their own if they truly want to. Tennessee just sucks, and they're on my auto fade list now. Tennessee is fucking terrible. Derrick Henry, I think, was on concussion protocol, then wasn't on concussion protocol, and now he's slated to play. Don't think it really matters, though, but it's over 46.5. It's a Miami game. Miami hits a lot of overs. It's Miami and over, or I just lose and I eat it later on the recap. But let's get to the other Monday Night Football game just to end the video. We got the Green Bay Packers coming off that win against Kansas City, traveling to East Rutherford, New York, against the New York Giants. Giants are plus 6.5, plus 260 on the money line, Packers are minus 320 on the money line. Over under 37 is the total. Green Bay, also not surprisingly, catching 82% of the money, 76% of the bets. And sounds crazy at first. I normally don't like betting the Packers as a big favorite. I didn't like betting the Packers all year. I can't get on the side of Tommy DeVito under a touchdown. Let's be honest, folks. The win over the Commanders just proved how fucking shitty the Commanders team is. The guy barely gets a victory over the New England Patriots. And I mean barely. Because of a missed field goal. Otherwise, Tommy DeVito got his ass kicked by the Raiders. Where Tommy DeVito went a whole 12 for 20, 175 yards, 2 interceptions and a touchdown. And then he got bent over and fucked by the Dallas Cowboys, going for a measly 86 yards, but 2 touchdowns and an interception. But at the end of the day, Tommy DeVito earned his spot to be a starter for the New York Giants. I counter, Tommy DeVito didn't earn goddamn jack shit. You beat the Patriots and the commies at their literal fucking worst. I get it with the Packers. They're coming off of a home victory against the Chiefs. Come on, though. Like, this isn't like a jack of all trades team. This isn't a team that has their shit together. This is the Packers versus a third string quarterback and a mid-tier defense. On Monday Night Football, which, by the way, Brian Daboll is a head coach, 0-2 ATS. Oh, the Giants, by the way, I know this is normally a Danny Dime special stat, but he's out, so we're going to throw the Danny Dime special away. But we'll just say the Giants, 0-8 straight up, 3-5 ATS on Monday Night Football since 2019. Haven't covered with Daboll. Don't expect them to cover now. Packers 5-2 ATS versus NFC teams this year. Packers have won and covered 4 of their last 5. Packers look really good. They're on the right trajectory. I think this is a team that ends up becoming a wild card team. If not, they look like a contender to take the division away from Detroit if everything goes wrong there. So with that said, give me the Packers minus 6.5. I'm taking the under 37 here, though. Again, real slight lean. Not too crazy on this number, but I just don't expect a lot from the New York Giants, and I just don't think the Packers, having Jordan Love do a perfect game, and Jordan Love only got, I think it was 27. Not expecting a big blowout, not expecting a 40-0 like I would with the Dallas Cowboys. So I just expect this to be an under game here on Monday Night Football. Last stat I'll throw out for both, and this applies to both Monday Night Football games. The home teams on Monday Night Football have gone 5-10 straight up, 5-9-1 ATS. So I expect this, but I expect a split between the two here. I don't see a spot where Miami loses this one. But that's it, guys. It's been over an hour, and I've gotten through all 14 games on the Week 14 card. I will give you a recap here of my best bets, starting with, in reverse order, my over of the week. We're going over the 51.5 with Philadelphia and Dallas. My dog of the week, we're taking the Vegas Raiders at plus 132. Under of the week, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Cleveland Browns, under 33.5. Carolina, New Orleans, we're fading the Saints as a home favorite. We're taking the Carolina Panthers plus 5.5. My best bet, favorite of the week, give me the Baltimore Ravens minus 7.5. That does it for me, guys. I am Steve Big Bucks Beta. Jason Money Mansmann, he is on his bye week. But, hang on one second. He did leave us a little present, though, for you guys, and this is in reference to that Jets game. That's right, guys. This is the 6th week in a row Sharps are expecting the Jets defense to win a game on their own. Fucking unreal. I can't believe. Yeah, we'll see. we're gonna see. We're gonna see if that happens. 6 weeks in a row, the Jets defense will still fucking blow, and 6 weeks in a row, Sauce Gardner will fucking get a non call on pass interference. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to week 14 at this point. The handicaps are done. I got no other words. I'm Big Bucks Beta signing off, D-Gents, and as always, make sure you guys always go win that motherfucking money. Have a good night, D-Gents.